Hi, I'm Dr. Alison Jacob. Welcome to those of you who are new to the call, and welcome back to those of you, the loyal followers who have been with me for years and have watched the ongoing metamorphosis. This is the first call after 6 weeks of half of that time being in the heart chakra of the planet, giving multiple treatments to my students to train them in the vibrational upgrade energy medicine system, taking them on tours of the ley lines, gathering up, as Claire calls it, Hoover energy tours, gathering up energy at these sacred sites. You all have read the emails about benefits from being at those sacred sites. And then I went on 2 more weeks leading into the solstice, as many of you saw in the emails, gathering even more energy. So much so, y'all, that by the time I was at the tail end of the visits, like multiple sites, Neolithic and megalithic sites with huge power, and then leading into the solstice, how many sites I was going to per day. I think it was Friday night and Saturday night of this past weekend. I was leaving the visiting of sacred sites on Sunday. So the first half of the day, we took a really early ferry from Belfast back to Edinburgh. And those are toads, by the way, you're going to be hearing during the call, which in the Chinese culture, in the front room entryway of everybody's home are those, I don't know if some of you have seen them, the toads or frogs with the Chinese coins in their mouths. They symbolize good luck and good fortune and increased money flows. That's in great part the vibrations I work with, hence having a signature program called Magic Manifestation and Money Flow. So we're going to definitely work with some of those energetics tonight, and I'm going to be already transmitting them too. Just by being here on the call with me, you're getting a download from my field. Latent keys and codes within you are getting activated, especially because I've just come from all these sites. So Friday night and Saturday night, I was sitting in my chair and I was drenched in sweat and had heated up the chair, so much so that my traveling companion came over and felt the heat on my chair. It was remarkable. Yesterday, during my first one-on-one, since having been at these sites where I was delivering the one-on-one in the way I was astonished at the flow of heat and power coming out of my hands. So you're getting a massive transmission tonight, and it might not show up in a riveting way while you're on the call, but what will happen is over the next days and weeks, you're going to start to integrate some of these energies. What you might feel while you're on the call is increased heat in an area of your body, possibly some increased tightness or contraction in a part of your body, like your shoulders is frequent, your neck is frequent, sometimes people's calves. Interestingly enough, I'm a personal trainer as well as a yoga teacher, and I'm very much about embodiment. As a matter of fact, just now on the Magic Manifestation and Money Flow group call immediately preceding this one, I was talking about how my first energy medicine modality was Reiki, and how I have the capacity to help others cross over and have done it, but I don't prefer it. My Reiki master is skilled at it, and I just end up referring people to her because I prefer to help people learn how to thrive on the planet. That's definitely my mission, and thrive in their bodies. And so there's a very particular part of my work, or it's very robust within the vibrational upgrade system to help people ground. It's no longer the time where we go up and meditate and connect with the angels and connect with the ascended masters and connect with that unconditional love energy and go out of our bodies in order to do so. My work is all about clearing out what doesn't allow you to ground down to your very toes. And I've spent years researching this. I've spent years applying it to my clients and learning what really traps, especially spiritually inclined or kind or caring or metaphysical empathics. I don't tend to use the word sensitives anymore because I just feel like it has too many connotations. So perceptives, those who are perceptive of energy and more tuned into energy, and may have had other lifetimes where you've done work with energy and you can facilitate others. So there are particular patterns that specifically spiritual folks or metaphysical folks have that causes them to go even more out of the root chakra. And so I love to work with getting spiritual folks' powers and capacities grounded into the bodies, because guess what? That also affects your money flows. Money flows are not only the root chakra, as very many beginner folks who talk about the chakras say that the money chakra is the root chakra. It's only one of them. But it's interesting because it also seems to correspond with yet something else I was just going over and doing transmissions and activations and clearings for with the Magic Manifestation and Money Flow people, was about how the conditioning within the spiritual communities and the metaphysical communities it's changing, that materialism and spirituality are distinctly mutually exclusive, and that if you're close to God, then that means you live minimalistically, you live close to the earth, and not a spiritual person. If they become financially successful, then that means they're becoming one of those kinds of people. And it's just not the case anymore. Everything is rebalancing. The marriage of the sacred and the mundane absolutely is happening. So we don't need to rely on a weekly synagogue or church visit in order to visit with the sacred. It's infused into every moment of our lives now. So some other things that you may be feeling is you may feel things at your feet. You may feel things at your calves, because a lot, again, of the energetics are working to ground you, especially because I'm going to be working with money clearings and activations and transmissions, and already am tonight. You may feel that more in what the root chakra is responsible for, which is the lower legs. You may also hear the sweet little bacteria, that friendly bacteria, the bifiduses, and all that lovely consciousness in our gut. That's our second central nervous system. They tend to talk when I'm around too. So you might hear your stomach gurgle, or you may become more aware of your upper belly. That's the third chakra, the solar plexus chakra. It's very much involved in the power to manifest what you desire out there onto the planet. You may also yawn a lot. Yawning is a sign that you're shifting consciousness and you're elevating your consciousness, you're upgrading, you're going up in your levels of vibration. Itchiness, tingling also might happen. So that's a list of some of the things that you may already be feeling and experiencing. You really don't, as Claire said, using my term, you don't want to be operating any bulldozers or any kind of caregiving that you're engaged in where you need to have your attention on what you're giving care to. Just come back and listen to the replay, please, because a lot of the times people's heads kick back when I start to do the clearings. And you need to be leaning against the wall. So because I'm going to hit parts of your unconsciousness, and you go unconscious it's a beautiful thing. The ego mind gets out of the way as if to allow a deeper clearing for me to go at the unconscious. And so you will go unconscious. Sometimes people, when they're listening to the Chakra Attunement audio series, they'll ask me or they're listening to one of the clearing products in the shop, they'll ask me a month into it, listening to it daily, hey, Alison, were these clearings always on here? And I love that because it's validation of the work that I do and in the way this stuff works. It's a beautiful phenomena. So what you're ready to receive tonight, the clearings and transmissions and activations will go in at that level. And then if you do have the Chakra Attunement audio series, or you don't and you purchase it, you'll see that as you clear out the upper levels, then when you get to the next level, all of a sudden you can hear it. And another phenomena is it can sound to people like I'm muttering or mumbling when I'm doing the clearings and activations. And in fact, I'm not. But it's just the mind can't grasp, because it can't grasp the concept because I've hit the block. So you go unconscious, or I've hit the trauma. And so I'm working at the subconscious level, and the conscious mind, the ego mind, just kicks out. It's brilliant work. And so some of the signs that you might experience afterwards that tell you something has happened is you have a deeper night's sleep. You feel more relaxed. You feel more calm. Your chest expands, your heart expands, you breathe easier. Your appetite regulates, whether you're overeating or under-eating all of a sudden. Now, what might happen within 24 to 48 hours of receiving this work is your appetite might increase, or it might decrease in reaction to the healing response you're having. You might notice that you'll be less triggered. You might notice that you have more energy, more clarity. You might notice more synchronicities. You might see more birds. You might see more butterflies. You might have, now the reactions with the money clearings in particular, it's really fun because sometimes I've had people at my workshops when I do these kinds of clearings, and while they're at the workshop, they're receiving the money clearings and activations. They go home to their computer-based business or their online business, and they see the biggest sales have come through. I had a woman, I loved giving this reference, you know who you are. She was joining Magic Manifestation and Money Flow in order to help her business's money flows. She has a brick and mortar business, and she invested in herself and her business, knowing that she had to clear out some blocks, both directly related to her business and her unconscious beliefs around business, but also other stuff, more importantly, other stuff in her, so that we could increase her capacity to receive and all the other things that go along with increasing somebody's business. And so she took a leap of faith, like Claire referred to, And even though she was a little bit nervous about the investment, she did it anyway, knowing that if she wanted something different, then she needed to do something different. And so within that afternoon, after investing in the program, she had 1,000 in sales. Nobody had walked through the door that day. She had the call with me, and then that afternoon, somebody walked in and dropped $1,000, and so that paid off a chunk already. So people have immediate reactions and responses. I could go on with the list, like people receiving surprise checks, getting off the phone after investing to join Magic Manifestation and Money Flow. One accountant, home-based business, had her husband walk through the door with 2 checks. I won't go on and on, but it can be that immediate, as well as it can be what level you're at. So it could increase your receiving capacity, and so you could meet somebody new next week that brings in a whole new volume to your business. Or you could have an alignment that seems like a synchronicity, and those of you who are unawake, which is none of you on this call because everybody's awakened, who are still referring to things as coincidences, recognize that it's synchronicities, and that happens with increasing volume the more that you receive this work. So I invite all of you to really tune in to what Claire was saying at the beginning of the call. About there is some correspondence, and it's a phenomena to me, to the way folks, I'm going into transmission now even more so, to the way folks treat themselves. So we'll typically, I'm not going to put myself in here, people, what I see is people typically limit themselves either by their time that they say they do or don't have, or by the money that they say they do or don't have, the health that they say they do or don't have, or by the energy they say they do or don't have. I want to address another aspect tonight too, which is abuse. Now, we're in the midst of still the solstice gateway. It's a really magical time right now. I am just starting to unpack, unravel, and integrate all of the energy that I just got, and it was an epic trip. And I have done epic trips since I've been 18. And this was the most sacred sites and power spots I've been to in one time. And meanwhile, during the attunement process for my students in the training in Glastonbury, UK, each attunement was the equivalent and is the equivalent of 8 one-on-one sessions. So there were days that I was giving 48 attunements, and that 48 times 8 is 384 sessions in one day, and I was doing that in the heart chakra of the planet. I remember the last day with my dragon masters. In the morning with my normal sun gazing and grounding, stepping out on the earth barefoot procedures that I start my days with, I could barely get back in my body. There was a lot of energy that's going to be coming out and flowing. So that having been said, couple that with the biggest level of photons ever measured out on the Tibetan plateau, massive amounts of high frequency photons have been hitting the earth starting on the day of the solstice. And I talked about this in the full moon newsletter. The full moon itself was potent. And then we had it backing up 3 days before, or 4 days if you count it exact, to the solstice. And on the solstice, and I think it was the day before the solstice and for 3 days after, we were getting showered upon with the highest frequency. Eclipse season is huge for endings and completions. And I have been finding myself leading into that. The last couple of weeks on my Magic Manifestation and Money Flow group calls, I have been, and even in my one-on-ones, I have been hearing myself give clearings, guided to give clearings around completion. There is a lot that's coming to completion, and I'm talking karma completion. It is brilliant what's going on right now. So if you have been on the fence, I say this sometimes, and now I'm saying it with more vehemence than ever before and more love than ever before. I'm patting you on the butt as if I'm your coach. Get out there and take a step. Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results, yeah? I remember when I stepped up working with my business coach, and the first investment she wanted was probably double what I was expecting and used to working at for investment. I mean, we're talking 4 figures, but it was a much higher 4-figure amount than I had been used to and comfortable with investing in myself and my business. But I knew the kind of up-leveling that my system was asking for. And you know what happened? My entire system shifted from that courageous investment in myself and in my business. And within that weekend, I had made back 2/3 of it by surprise money. There is a shift that happens when you step up on behalf of yourself. that you catalyze, when you absolutely claim that yes, and now is the time to do it because it is so much more potent than ever before. But if you really want to be held accountable and you really want to purify the ego mind of yours and you really want to get over the hidden ways you're sabotaging yourself, you have to get held, your ego mind has to get held accountable. You have to have the karmic clearings. So tonight's going to help you. But please don't expect absolutely magical changes, because it has, even with is magical. That's why I moved to Asia, because I literally said, I want to learn how to speed up the results and have more robust results for my clients. And I went to the seat of where they understand energy, and I stayed there and studied for 10 years. And the results have been more robust and sped up as a result. But even with the comprehensive program I have between the meditation and mindfulness coaching and all of the other stuff that I do that I'm bored with talking about, and many of you or most of you know, there still is this level of like the personal trainer in me that comes in, that's like the coach that has to help you hold yourself accountable to your yes. And that doesn't happen with like the fly-by-night listening to a recording here, listening to a recording there. It just doesn't. So that's what it's meant by that level of yes, that level of stepping up and taking a courageous risk. And I got to tell you, I have been meditating since 1992, and I have been teaching my first signature talk, The Nature of the Mind, since 1993. It was such a natural fit for me. And one of the absolute key aspects to the mind is a reflexive hatred of the unknown. It wants to know. It is lazy, right? So your mind, your targets or your goals and your strategies and your maps of how to get there isn't going to get you there, because it's only, or it might, but it's going to take 5 times as long as if you do it through the energetics being activated within your system, like your heart, which is 10 times more magnetic in its power than the brain. 10 times more, magnetic as well as electric. And even with all the synapses firing to get across a synaptic gap with any thought that's generated in the brain, there is still more electricity happening at the heart, 10 times more than at the brain. There is so much more possible than your mind scanning for if you're being marketed to is able to conceive of. I am genuinely offering you the possibilities of stepping into an entirely different level of existence, because that is what we're up to now from 2012 to 2032. It is a 20-year window, and we are in the second third of it, where a lot of it is asking to be much more physicalized now. And that means no longer just receiving the high frequencies and being spiritual and being awakened and having sensitivities and having skin breakouts and having food sensitivities, or wanting to connect with your soul, or going to take yoga classes, or wanting to become more spiritual, or starting to use words like karma, or starting to use words like energy. Now it's about actually living from a more soul-infused existence, and the masculine and the feminine becoming rebalanced, and the material and the spiritual becoming more imbalanced. And our unity and our oneness and our kindness and our compassion ruling the day. So all of the places where you have been infused with divisiveness, hatred, intolerance, lack of compassion, lack of kindness, what's in it for me, selfish, self-centric behavior, all of the places where that has affected you and turned you off and shut you down, making you think that humanity is in a mess right now and there's no hope and we're going down the drain, would you all be willing to burn that all up now with the flames of transmutation? Please feel free to say yes out loud.
Yes.
We're going to burn it all up now with the flames of transmutation. Please inhale and exhale at your own pace as I silently invoke the transmutation. So sing away. Oof, a lot of transmutation happening here. And we're going to activate the upgrade now. So all of the latent keys and codes and ancient wisdom and ancient knowing you have, all of the inherent talents you have, to bring this all into alignment with your highest divine blueprint and our collective highest divine blueprint. All of the blessings possible for our highest potential and highest possibilities to be realized. Activating this gorgeous upgrade now. A lot of resolution energy is getting sent out. Thank you, each of you, for being here and showing up in this work you're doing on yourself that naturally, beautifully helps the collective just by you doing this for yourself. Okay. So I'd like to go into abuse now. All of the places where you have been in agreement that you are deserving of abuse at an unconscious level, all the places where you've shrunk your life down, all the places where you've shrunk yourself down, all the places where you have shut down to life, where you have shut down to the possibilities that are just pounding at your system, metaphysically, around your mind, body, spirit system, asking to be let in. All the places where you're living in resistance, and you're saying no, and you're just holding on, and you're holding on to the familiar, and you're feeling unsafe. All of the places where any kind of bullying, any kind of abuse, any kind of temper tantrums, any kind of jailing, any kind of punishment, any kind of torture across all time, all space, all dimensions, all lifetimes, all realities, all karma as appropriate, all of the imprints upon you from your parents, all of the imprints upon your parents from their parents in your lineage, all of the conditioning from the master's trance, all of the contracts, oaths, vows, swearings, and promises that are in any way involved with you continuing to be in agreement with any level of abuse of yourself through any means, whether it's financial, diet, relationship, energy, health, or anything I've not named. Are you all willing to burn that self-abuse all up now with the flames of transmutation? Okay, so feel free to go ahead and inhale and exhale at your own pace, and a great way to help yourself shift even more is exhale twice the length of the inhale. I'm going to burn it all up now with the flames of transmutation, burning up all of the self-abuse, burning up all of the abuses that have been inflicted upon you. Suggest that some of you inhale and exhale a second time. I'm staying with this clearing. Hold on. Yeah, it's a lot that's transmuting. One of you is shaking. Please inhale and exhale again. Including all of the trauma that you've ever suffered at the hands of abuse, at the hands of jailing, torture, any kind of suffering that's traumatized you as well. Burning that all up now with the flames of transmutation. And yes, my tone gets fierce on behalf of my peeps. Yeah, it's a bit of a shift. So we're going to activate the upgrade now. All of the latent keys and codes and inherent talents, all of the blessings possible to help bring this all in alignment with your highest divine blueprint and the collective's highest divine blueprint for your highest and best potential and possibilities to be realized, activating the upgrade now. Beautiful work, y'all. Thank you. Okay. Wow. Y'all feeling the shift? The field feels entirely different. Holy cow. Brilliant. So let's go into some money clearing. All right. I want to suggest to you that money is a neutral entity. It's just energy. I spent years in a global community clearing out the projections onto money so that money can return to its neutral state. It is you that allows yourself to be friends with money or to push it away. So all of the unconscious conclusions you have, all of the unconscious evaluations, judgments, principles, it's a new one, and computations about what money is and how money behaves with you. All of the imprints from your parents, all of the imprints from their parents, all the imprints from your lineage that cause you to push away money. All of the cultural conditioning from the trance of the masses with their unpurified ego minds. All of the karma as appropriate that go into you pushing away money and rejecting money and having a bad relationship with money. All of the vows of poverty you've ever taken, all of the contracts, oaths, swearings, and promises, and all of the trauma across all time, all space, all dimensions, and realities that cause you to reject money, push away money, have a bad relationship with money, say that you're bad with money, reject money, and then chase after it, saying you don't have enough. Would you be willing to transmute all of that now? So we're going to go ahead and activate the transmutation of it right now. So go ahead and inhale and exhale, please. Activating the upgrade now. Some of you are lingering with your activating the upgrade now. So all of the ancient wisdom you have, the ancient knowing you have about what currency is and is not, and what wealth is, what abundance is and is not, all of your inherent talents and latent keys and codes, all of the blessings available and blessings that are unavailable that could be made available, to bring this all into alignment with your highest divine blueprint for your highest potential and highest possibilities to be realized and to be realized for us all. Activating the upgrade now, please. So if you think that people who have a lot of money are greedy, if you've experienced parents who frequently said, there isn't enough, we don't have money for that, we can't afford that, then that's become a mantra in your head. I can go into the science behind it. I don't want to, ages 0 to 8, you basically absorb your parents and get imprinted with their beliefs. And that includes around money, which is, if they didn't clear themselves out, which is quite typical at that stage that they didn't, then they're just walking around repeating their parents' beliefs around money. And then that could be leading into some depression era folks. So what if money really wanted to play with you? Because it does. What if your joyous, open heart is what magnetizes money to you? So I'm going to bring in now the energetics from the Loughborough Stone Circle in Ireland that has, it's a megalithic site. 4000 BC is when it's estimated to have originated, and celebrations of harvest and abundance happened in the fall, as well as it was used for the solstice celebrations. And I was there on the solstice. I'm bringing in, this wants to be a silent transmission. Please hold your hands up in the air, palms facing outward, but have the fingertips facing down towards the earth. So your elbows can be bent and your hands are facing down towards the earth, and you're just in a receptive mode with both hands. They can be by your side or they can be out in front a little bit of your body, whatever is comfortable for you. I'm going to go into a silent transmission here. Inhale and exhale. Feel that center of your chest in between your pecs or your breath. Tune in there. Tune in between your shoulder blades. Dial it up. Your friendliness, your openness, your welcoming. Abundance for all is what is happening in this new era, in this new golden age we're stepping into. Abundance for all. There's more than enough money on the planet. Yes, there is. Money does grow on trees. Lean into that. What would it feel like? More than enough money for all. It's just people who have created the current systems with uncleaned, unpurified ego minds. And it's up to each of you to step up your game and allow yourself to receive more and become more empowered and have a bigger, grander life. Not just through money, but the freedom of choice, which gets us from the 4th dimension to the 5th dimension, as we're meant to do during this 20-year window, ultimately ending in a 5th dimensional living with the open hearts from 4D living into recognizing our power to co-create via our free will or our choice. It's a lot less restricted when you allow yourself to have more choice. And in today's world, that includes and involves having more than enough money. And what would it take for you to feel comfortable with having so much money that you didn't know how to spend it all? What choices would you need to make to get there? To allow yourself to roll in money, to be friends with money, to invite it to you. It just wants to play with you like the butterflies, like the dogs wagging their tails with their unconditional loving energy and messaging. Not the cat, the snooty cat that hides in the corner or in the patch of sun or rebuffs you, but the loving dog wagging its tail and greeting you. Money wants to play with you. It wants you to have more possibilities available. This is a creative, fertile time right now we're in. We are eclipsing the old relationship of you limiting yourself and your choices through money. So anything and everything that doesn't allow for that, are you all willing to blow up?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay, let's do it. Please inhale and exhale. Let that exhale be double the length of the inhale. Bring it all up now with the flames of transmutation. All that was just named across all time, all space, all dimensions, all realities, all the self-limiting, self-restricting behavior done through money and restricting one's money flows. And activating the upgrade now. It's much cleaner. Well done, y'all. So any and all ancient wisdom, ancient knowing that you have, any and all latent keys and codes and inherent talents and all the blessings possible, bring us all into alignment with your highest divine blueprint and our highest divine blueprint, activating the upgrade now for your highest and best potential and possibilities and our highest and best potential and possibilities to be realized now. Lovely. The central thread of the Magic Manifestation and Money Flow program is to align you with your higher knowing. I come in until, like the training wheels, until you are connected. So if you'd like that, you can sign up for an Open the Drawbridge call and see about possibly working with me in the Magic Manifestation and Money Flow program.